Problem players. If you're a dungeon master or a game master, you're going to eventually have one at your table. If you're a player, you may be sitting next to one. Worse yet, you may be one. The problem with problem players, that's kind of fun to say, problem with problem players, is the problem is actually in the eye of the beholder. Because what's a problem for me may not be a problem for you. So, how do you handle problem players at your table, as a dungeon master and as a player? Today's topic was suggested by a great friend of the channel, WobbleRocket, over on Blue Sky. Be sure to check out WobbleRocket. He does live streams of old school games, has a weekly WobbleRocket newsletter with links to articles and other topics with other creators, including discounts. And he runs an amazing Discord where we get together and we talk about everything all day. So be sure to check his stuff out. Links in the description. Problem players, what do you do? Let's talk. The biggest thing in handling a problem player is communication. Most problems can be fixed by talking it out. A player may not know they're doing something wrong, or they do know, but you're going to give them a chance to fix it. And you do this by talking to that player in private. No need to do it in public, not initially. Talk to them in private. Hey, you're doing this, can you stop? This is why. Can you do this instead? That kind of thing. Do it privately. From my experience, most players don't even realize they're doing anything wrong. And if you talk to them, they'll stop. Hey, I love that you're jumping in, you're wanting to role play, but you are dominating the table. Can you try to back off a little bit? When it's the other player's turn, let them have their turn. Let them have their moment in the spotlight. Can you do that? I love what you're doing now, but just dial it back a little bit. Something like that, that player may not even realize it because they're just amped up and they want to go and they're diving into their character, which is great. You want that at your table. But it can be too much at a table depending upon the personalities. Hey, I notice you fudging your rolls. Stop that now, or you won't be asked back. There's two examples of how to handle two different problems in two different ways. One is encouraging not them to stop it, but to get them to slightly change it. Another is a straight up warning. Continue and you're done. Now, if talking to a player in private doesn't work, address the table. Hey everybody, I've been noticing some funky things going on with dice rolls and results. This is your one and only warning. If I catch you again, you won't be asked back. Hey, everybody, I love it. I love the enthusiasm, but can we make sure everybody gets a chance to partake? Make sure everybody has a chance to have their moment? And if I'm having a moment with a player, can you please keep your side conversations to a minimum or don't interrupt? I will get to you. Let me finish with the player here, okay? Can we do that? Awesome. Thanks. Problems normally will be solved with just that. Simple as that. In private, in public, basic communication is always going to be key at the table. The next best way is session 0. Session 0 will establish your rules for the players in the game at your table. What classes and species are used, can be used, are banned. What spells are banned. I have a whole video on don't ban anything, so check that out in the video in the description below. But you'll also establish show times and start times. You'll establish what you expect from the players in terms of backstory. And you'll also allow the players to set lines and veils so the other players know what lines not to cross. One of the bigger problems is players crossing lines. It can happen unintentionally without realizing it, or it can happen intentionally. This is where, just like cheating, intentionally crossing a veil can be grounds to kick them out of the game. I generally give them a warning. Hey, last night in the game, you were talking about this. I tried to pull you in, but I couldn't quite get you there. Remember in session 0, we talked about player B. This is one of their lines, okay? We got to try not to cross that. Let's just try not to do that next time, okay? Appreciate it. Thank you. Once again, it comes out to communication, but you need to have the guidelines and the rules and the expectations established from the start. That's where session 0 is key. If you have to make a change mid-campaign, you can have a re-session 0. This will reestablish the ground rules for the table and add in anything new that you've discovered as the campaign has progressed. This could also help, again, eliminate issues with problem players. So, it really comes down to setting the rules and talking to the players about it. Also, before you have your session 0, when you are selecting players for your table, try to talk to the players individually outside of the group. Figure out what their personality is. Hopefully, you've played with them before, so you easily know, yeah, they'll fit in with this group perfectly. Not a problem. Or you've at least talked to them before. Because there may come a time where what you want for your game, or what the other players want for the game, does not vibe with what they want. They may want hardcore dungeon crawl, power gaming, but the table wants political intrigue, or the table wants more towards the role play, the social encounter side of it, or exploration rather than combat. So you have to get those two together, because if there's a big disconnect between what each player wants at your table, players may start to act out. The power gamer who only wants combat may get upset and try to take over shopping sessions because they don't want to shop. So they're trying to start fights with NPCs, or they're trying to do that. Or the guy who wants just political intrigue may just phone it in during combat and just, I cast Firebolt, I cast Firebolt, I cast Firebolt, not using any of their combat skills. So if you can balance that before you start, and at least get them close, issues from problem players regarding that kind of thing, where it's boredom at the table, or they don't want to be there, you can eliminate it then. So before we move on to talking about how to handle it as a player, let's talk to Advertising Rich and today's sponsor. This video is brought to you by Dice Envy. You can never have enough dice, and if someone tells you otherwise, don't believe them. And the folks at Dice Envy have all sorts of dice to choose from: polymer, metal, stone, and glass, as well as monthly subscriptions, along with mystery dice sets and dice in different shapes than normal. They also have dice trays and even inspiration coins. So, click the link in the description to go to Dice Envy to let them know the Laughing Tavern sent you. Thanks to Dice Envy for sponsoring this video. Thank you again, Advertising Rich. Keep up the hard work, my man. As a player, talk to your DM, talk to the other players. If you are having a problem with someone, talk to the player first. They, just like if you're the dungeon master, they may not know. So if you can talk to the player before going to the DM, you could probably nip something in the bud too and help the DM out. Maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe it's something that you can handle on your own. If you do have a problem, talk to the DM. Talk to them offline, not in front of everybody. Explain what the problem is and why it's a problem. Sometimes, the DM should be able to fix it for you. Session 0 is key for you as a player as well. Be honest with your lines and veils. And if your DM is doing a session 0 and there's no talk about lines and veils, or your DM doesn't even do a session 0, talk to the DM about having a session 0 and specifically talking about lines and veils. If a player keeps crossing into something and talking about something you just don't want to, that player may not know. The table may not know. So it's key that those are voiced. You have to voice your issues and concerns. Again, communication. So talk to your DM about having a session 0. If you are a problem player, several things you can do to not be one. 1, listen to your DM, okay? Listen to the rules and the guidelines set during session 0. Abide by lines and veils. Abide by the rules. Don't cheat. Show up on time. Show up ready to play. Know your character. You don't have to know the rules to play D&D, but you should know how your character functions within the rules that the DM and other players can help you with. But know your player. Know your character. And basically, I'm going to be honest, don't be a dick. This is the easiest way not to be a problem player at the table. Plain and simple. Just like how I say at the end of all my videos. Love each other, be kind to each other, and accept each other. You do those 3 things as a player, and you follow the rules the DM has set for the table, you won't be a problem player. Even if you are the biggest power gamer in the world, you'll fit in at the table because you'll be following the rules, and you'll accepting everybody else and what they like and don't like. I hate to be that blunt, but let's be honest. There's not a DM out here that the biggest answer to how not to be a problem player is don't be a dick. Seriously. Be nice to the other players. Accept them. It's all you have to do at the table. And roll dice and laugh and come up with shenanigans to keep your DM on their toes. So, communication. Talk to each other. Doesn't matter if you're the DM or a player. Talk. Air your grievances. Talk about what's bothering you. Instead of having a session one night, just talk to each other. Go out and have some drinks somewhere. Talk about the game. Talk about what you like and dislike. Give feedback. It will all help in handling problem players at the table. So the biggest key is to prevent them before they even start. As always, love each other, be nice to each other, and accept each other. Give us that thumbs up and subscribe too. Helps us out. Looking for 500 subs by the end of July for my 50th birthday. Help us get there, please. Have a nice day.